What's up, gang? Happy week 6. Super excited to be here with you today as we kick off this week where we talk about systems. And the reason why I put systems in week 6 is because I really feel like these need to be in place for you to have continued success on this journey. And I want you to think about systems really just as a different way of saying habits. Systems are those things that you do every day that allow your brain to free up space in a way. And that's kind of how habits work is our brain works on autopilot a lot of the time, right? So if I just identify as a person who does meal prep every Sunday and just do it and I don't really have to think about it, it's just a part of who I am, that frees up all this other bandwidth for my brain to think about the problems that are facing me in day-to-day life. So with systems in place, we can kind of find that groove where we feel like we're cruising on autopilot with our healthy habits, which is what everybody wants, right? And for this week, I want us to start by thinking about this quote from James Clear, although it's probably been said by many other people, including myself. And when this particular idea really worked its way into my brain, it was super game changing for me. Here it goes. All behavior is an attempt to solve a problem. Let's think about that again. All behavior is an attempt to solve a problem. So you can think about any of the what you might consider bad habits in your life. Maybe it's overeating, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's consuming alcohol too frequently, maybe it's not exercising as much as you want, as a way that you are trying to solve a problem. For me, the exercise one was really profound. It was something that I had to think about a lot. And I realized that the problems that I was trying to solve was that I didn't want to be uncomfortable. I didn't want to get sweaty and dirty. I didn't want to appear as though I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to, there was a lot. There were a lot of problems. So I solved that problem by doing something else. I'm just not thinking about it and not doing it. So when we're thinking about the way that we form habits, we have to remember that there is this thing called the habit loop. So we have a cue, which results in a craving, which results in a response, which results in a reward. And this is how we create a little feedback loop in our lives for behaviors. So the cue may be, here, an easy one to think about is I smell cookies baking, all right? So there's the cue. What starts happening when you smell those cookies, right? Hopefully they're your favorite cookies. You start to salivate or you start to desire the cookie, you have a craving. Your response is to get up and take a cookie, maybe, or go buy a cookie, right? This happens in the mall all the time with those like Cinnabon situations, or to buy a pretzel or whatever it may be. And then reward is that you get to eat it and you're like, that was delicious. And all these other little physiological things are happening. And that is a feedback loop, right? So you can think about where you might have feedback loops like that in your behavior now for a variety of other things. So this knowledge gives us power. If we can disrupt this feedback loop and figure out, is there a different way that I can use this knowledge? Perhaps I could, another good example is for some people, they get stressed, right? So with the stress is the cue. The cue causes a craving. So what is the craving? The craving could be that you want that chocolate chip cookie, or the craving could be that you go for a run. So we all know people who respond to stress in different ways, right? So the craving is, I want to go for a run. That's what we want it to be, right? So you need to know that you have the power of choice always in what happens in this cue, craving, response, reward cycle. And if we can get the things that we want in there more powerfully, like maybe it is going for a run, or maybe it's exercising, or maybe it's creating a healthy snack for yourself, or who knows, maybe it's doing meditation. If we can create feedback loops around that and get on autopilot with those feedback loops, then we can have more and more of the things that we want to create habit-wise in our life. This is where I like to think about the laws of behavior change. So we want to remember that if you have a habit that you want to create, you want to make it obvious, you want to make it attractive, you want to make it easy, and you want to make it satisfying. And I like to use water as an example for this. How can I make my water very obvious, right? I want to consume water every day. So I'm going to keep it in front of me. I'm going to make sure that I'm sitting close to the water cooler at work, whatever it may be. I want to make it attractive. Maybe I want to make sure that I have like the most cute water bottle that makes me really excited. I want to make it easy. So that goes back to, okay, I need to fill my water bottle and I need to be close to the water cooler to do that. Otherwise, I can talk myself out of it, or it just needs to be easy and readily available. And then make it satisfying. Maybe water's not your favorite thing in the world, and you want to cultivate that habit of drinking more water. How can you make it more satisfying? Well, I'm going to put some infused fruit in it, or I'm going to put a little Mio in there, or whatever it may be. I personally like bubbles. That makes it satisfying for me. And conversely, if we want to break a bad habit, we can use these laws of behavior change. We can flip them on their heads. So we want to make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, make it unsatisfying. So I have a couple little tricks that I use like this in my life. I have this, I'm very much a creature of these loops of habit. So for example, in my house, my son and my husband like to buy chocolate chips to put in their pancakes and different things. And I always say, I am not good at restraint. So if I have, and I probably need to flip that script for myself, I can restrain when I want to. But if I have that readily available, I'm going to use them all the time. We're going to eat them all the time. And I don't want to do that. So I ask them to hide them. So I have that conversation with my husband and my son, and they make a game of it and they have fun with it and they tease me about it. And it's okay. It's invisible. I can't see it. One way that I make it unattractive or that I make it unsatisfying, if I want to have chocolate, I'll actually buy 90% cocoa. That's like baker's chocolate. And I can keep that in the cabinet because I won't just cut off a piece of that and eat it. It has to go in something for it to taste good for me. So it's unattractive, it's unsatisfying. Making it difficult. If it's high up, out of sight, out of mind. Some people like to close down their kitchen, for example. So you could use this for any behavior that you're trying to cultivate or that you're trying to reduce. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. If you want to break that bad habit, make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying to cultivate that habit. And if you're not sure how to do that with something that you're working towards, let's talk about it. I want to help you. I've helped a lot of people figure out what this means for exercise and many, many other things. Okay. So today, I want to know, what is one habit that you're working on, be it exercise, nutrition, etc., that you can apply the laws of behavior change to? Can you make it a habit that you are trying to cultivate and make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying? I want to hear about the building of a habit today. Yes, you can use the converse laws to break a habit, but I think sometimes we hyper focus on breaking of habits. But I also kind of think about, if I just fill my life with positive habits, there's going to be less room for those quote unquote negative ones. So I want you to focus on one that you want to build today. I want to leave you with this quote from James Clear. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs. But as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. This is one reason why meaningful change does not require radical change. Small habits can make a meaningful difference by providing evidence of a new identity. And if change is meaningful, it is actually big. And that is the paradox of making small improvements. Again, tell me today, or your buddies here in this group, or whoever you need to shout it out into the world to make it real. What is one habit that you are trying to cultivate that you can apply the laws of behavior change? Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. Satisfying. Tell me how you will do those things with the habit that you're working on. See you next time.